Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this evening's call. I want to thank each and everyone for getting on the call today. As you got on the call, you notice that we're putting you on mute. That is because we are recording. I want to welcome you to this is actually the business launch for the one and only Rhonda. For those of you who are guests, thank you for joining us. Uh, just to cover some house rules, uh, because it's being recorded, we want to not interfere with the live streaming, so we're going to actually remain on mute and keep your videos off until the time we actually call you to actually do so. But again, you want to make sure you thank Rhonda for coming. We want to thank you for taking out the time and thought it not robbery to take the time out of your schedule to join her as she launches her business. It's a tremendous business. So for those of you here for the first time, you are in for a treat. You're going to be introduced to a technology that's literally life changing. And as you know, Rhonda really cares about people. She has a heart for saving and helping people. She believes in natural healings and ability to help people change their lives in a way that most people don't even have the opportunity to do. So thank you for taking out the time for your busy schedule to join us this evening. We're going to get started shortly. My name is Derek Hawk. I'm your host for the evening, and I'm going to take you through a journey, a life-changing journey, as we talk about this passion. Now, the reason that she invited you is because we are under attack by land, air, and sea. I know it sounds like a mission, but if you think about our lives and what we're dealing with, the water is not the same. The quality of the water is not the same as it used to be. A couple of years in Detroit, you might have heard about the story where the city had water pipes that were contaminated. They tried to hide it instead of fixing and helping those people. A lot of people had suffered injuries and a lot of challenges from the water. The quality of the air, you see what happened in California with all the fires. Same thing happened in Canada. In fact, I'm in the New York, New Jersey region, and 2 years ago, there was a huge fire in Canada. And the fire was so bad that the smoke traveled from Canada to the New York, New Jersey region. The sky had a yellow hue to it, and we were warned not to go outside because the air was not healthy. It wasn't the quality of the air wasn't healthy enough to breathe. So we were warned, do not go outside because unless you really have to. And last but not least, let's talk about the food. The quality of the food has changed tremendously. The minerals in the food are being depleted because we're over farming, but also when you think about what's happening in this country, when big companies want to have profit, they find ways to save and cut corners. So they use ingredients that are not healthy for us. In fact, some of the ingredients that are found in the foods that we eat are literally banned in other countries. So again, I just give you an idea of what I mean when I say we are attacked by land, air, and sea. And because of that, obviously, it's causing a lot of problems with our health. It's also causing problem with our wealth. And when I say wealth, I want you to substitute wealth with the word health because health is your first wealth. Again, that's truly important. If you had an opportunity to have your health without having to take medication, without pain, without having to have surgery, or you had $1 million, which would you choose? I know I would choose the health every time because what good is it to have $1 million if you can't even enjoy it, if you're suffering in pain and medications and all kind of challenges? But what if you had an opportunity to have both wealth and health? Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about a company called Lifewave. We're going to introduce you to the business. So for those of you who are guests and here for the first time, if you don't mind, do me a favor in the chat, put your name in the chat and put who invited you. So, for example, if your name was Anthony and you were invited by Derek, you would just say Anthony invited by Derek. This way, we know to follow with you. Oftentimes on these calls, you have people that have iPhones or iPads, or they have their phone number, or they may even have a nickname. So there's no way of knowing that you were here, and we would love to get back to you because, again, you don't want to miss this. So, again, let's get into why you were invited here. We're going to talk about harnessing the power of light and heat because God has designed our bodies to heal itself, and we've already have what's in us to heal it. We just needed somebody to figure out how to make that happen, and we have done that. So my question to you tonight, if you're here for the first time, is have you been patched yet? If you haven't been patched, you want to definitely get back to Rhonda after this call. You don't want to waste time because the longer you take to get patched, it could mean the longer you take to heal and your body to take care of itself. Because we actually found a way to reactivate, elevate, and reactivate your what you call your stem cells. Now we all have stem cells, but why is that important? Because I don't know if you know this, but by the time we turn 30, half our stem cells go dormant. My doctors never told me that. I have doctors that I work with. A lot of them didn't know that. But by the time you turn 60, guess what? Nearly all of your stem cells are inactive. Now, you might say, well, why is that important? Because the stem cells make up the tissues and organs in our bodies. They are the body's intended repair system. That is right. So when you have a problem with your body, something is going wrong, guess who comes to the rescue? Your stem cells. But if they're inactive, Uh, Half of them are active by the time they turn 30, and by the time they turn 60, the majority of them are inactive. That is why when you go between the age of 30 and 60, do you notice that you start moving a little bit slower? Do you notice that you start aching? And did you ever go to bed and wake up in the morning and have an injury and can't figure out what happened? You were in bed all night, but you woke up with injury. Well, that's what happens with our bodies. And again, so our stem cells are very, very important because if you think about it, when I was a kid, and I can remember when I running around, I was an active kid, jumping out of trees and swinging on the monkey bars in the park and doing all kind of things. I always had injuries, and I remember breaking an arm, and I remember going to the doctor and getting a soft cast, and I can't recall the time, but it seemed like a week or two. I was in that cast, and as soon as I came out that cast, my arm was like new. I was back at the swinging and doing the crazy things I used to do. If I scratched myself, if I got a cut or bruise, guess what? It would clear up and go away. But what happens if you get that same breakage in your body when you're 50 or 60? What if you get a scratch or bruise or scar? It becomes permanent. Instead of getting in a cast, you wind up getting a cane, or you wind up getting a wheelchair, or you might even get a walk in. And it's so bad that we become used to seeing people walk around with walkers, canes, wheelchairs, and we don't think even twice about it. We're talking about people in their 40s and 50s, and we're starting to see people get diseases and have problems with their bodies that they didn't have 30, 40, 50 years ago. That is because the world has changed. There's a lot of stresses that we deal with. As I mentioned, the water, the quality of the food, the air is all changed, but also the stresses of life. If you work for a job, most of you, if you travel, you have to commute. Some of you may have to drive an hour or two to get to work, an hour or two to get home. Some of you work with people who are not as smart as you, but they're your boss, they're your manager. A lot of times you don't like them, don't respect them, but you have to work with them on a daily basis. Your stomach starts to turn every Sunday night around 8 o'clock because you remember, hey, I got to get up Monday and go back to that job. And if you think about it, most companies pay you just enough money so that you don't quit. And most people work just hard enough so they don't get fired. They do that for 30, 40 years of their life. They retire, if they're lucky, with 40, 50, maybe 60% of what they couldn't live on when they had 100%. So we have an opportunity today to share with you. We want to eradicate not only the bad health in our community, we are here to show you how to eradicate bad death with this opportunity. And that is why you're invited to this business launch. Now, the less stem cells that we have, the slower that we heal, and the faster we feel the effects of aging. And you've experienced this. You notice if you get an injury when you get older, it takes forever, it seems like, to heal, if it heals at all. A lot of people are getting knee replacement. That seems to be the new thing. I can't tell you how many of my friends and people that I talk to, when I talk to them, I said, what are you doing? They said, I'm having one knee replaced, two knees replaced, a hip replacement. They're all becoming bionic people because, again, our bodies are falling apart. And that is because our stem cells are dormant. Means that people are experiencing the effects of aging. But guess what? We have a solution, and it's called X39. Now, how does X39 work? X39 is basically a proprietary form of phototherapy. Proprietary because it has a patent. It's a form of phototherapy. Phototherapy is not new. I can remember when I was a child, I would play with magnifying glass. I would take that magnifying glass, I would hold it just at a certain angle. I would aim it at a bunch of leaves, and I would literally burn holes in the leaf because I harnessed the power of the sun, and that sun on the other end caused light to go through and burn the leaf. So phototherapy is not new. It's a patented nanocrystal technology. Nano just simply means very small. Crystals means organic salts and sugars. And it's a technology because, again, it is a patch. Now, it is non-transdermal, which means it doesn't penetrate the skin. It reflects light to activate something in the body called copper peptide. It's called GHKCU. For those of you who are like me, I'm an engineer by trade. That's what I studied when I went to college. I graduated. I studied as an engineer, worked as an engineer. We are taught to analyze, investigate, do our research to the nth degree. So if you want to find out the power of what I'm going to share with you, look up GHKCU, which is called copper peptide. You will discover that if you can figure out a way to activate your copper peptides, you will also wake up those dormant stem cells that have been sleeping in your body. Now, there's no drugs or chemicals, 100% non-invasive. And what this patch does, it reflects light from the body because we are light beings. If you ever seen somebody with night vision goggles, you notice that they can actually see someone a mile away, 2 miles away, because our body gives off heat and light and energy. And that is why you can see somebody with those night vision goggles. Now, because light leaves our body, there's a way to reflect it. And to give you an example of how phototherapy works, If you think about how we get vitamin D, you go out into the sun, and you stay long enough, and what's happening is the light from the sun hits your body at a certain frequency, infrared light, certain frequency of light. When it hits our body, it activates the vitamin D that is already in us. It's already God given. It doesn't come from the sun. It comes from within. The sun is what we use to activate the vitamin D. Well, guess what? This patch acts the same way. When you put this patch on your body, what it does, it acts as a mirror. It reflects that light and heat that's trying to leave the body at a certain frequency back inward. And after 38 trials, on trial 39, guess what? I'm going to talk about the gentleman who created this tremendous patch. And on trial number 39, guess what? He figured it out. He's a man. He's a man of faith. He used codes in the Bible and codes he found in science and in nature to develop this patch. I'm going to talk about how to do that. It's 100% non-invasive. That is very important to me and many of you because, as you know, many of us have to deal with the pharmaceutical cartels. They give us drugs, and oftentimes they don't work. They give us drugs that, again, become addictive. And oftentimes they even give us drugs that don't even work. Have you ever experienced this? You go to the doctor, and doctors, I have a lot of respect for doctors, and they go to school, and most of the time they go to learn how to treat stuff. They don't go how to learn to prevention. They learn about treatment. So when you have a symptom, they'll tell you what to do, what to take to address it. Now, if you think about that, have you ever been given a drug or recommended a prescription and it didn't work, and or you got a side effect, and you went back to your doctor and they say, "Hey, doc, this didn't work." He said, "Okay, that didn't work. Let's try this." Oh, that didn't work. Let's try that. So that is why I believe they call it a medical practice because they're practicing. And guess who are the guinea pigs? Those of us who use the pharmaceutical industry for drugs treatment. And I don't know about you, but I get very nervous when I see a commercial about a drug because what the big print giveth, the small print taketh away. When I look at the side effects, it's scary. I've seen side effects that says cause heart attack, death, mutilation. I mean, there's so many side effects that are just as bad as what you're treating. So my goal today is share with you a way that you can heal the body and address a lot of things in the body. And it's really our own body healing itself. We just think it's needed somebody to figure out the code. And that person is Mr. David Schmidt. David Schmidt is the CEO and the inventor of this company. It's a wonderful company called Lifewave. Now, it says David has over 130 patents on the screen, but guess what? He has over 200 patents because he's constantly finding ways to help people in a lot of ways in science. He's a scientist inventor. He specializes in age reversing technology. And again, out of the over 200 patents that he has, a good 70% of them deal with specialized in age reversing technology. Now, this is not Dave's first rodeo. Back in 20 years ago, David was contracted by the U.S. government, in particular the Navy SEALs. The Navy SEALs hired David because they had a new submarine they wanted to test, but they wanted to make sure that the Navy SEALs were able to stay alert for more than 30 hours at a time without crashing, without having the side effects that you get when you take drugs or chemicals or energy drinks. And he developed his first patch, and he's been on a tear since. He's created 200 patents since then. Now, in 2008, he shifted his focus on his stem cell research because stem cell was the buzzword around that time. Everybody was trying to figure out how to use stem cells to heal the body. In fact, you might have heard of something called stem cell injections, where they take the harvested stem cells from another body or from a human placental extract, which is basically afterbirth of a child, and they inject it into a body. Generally, it's a localized injection. Let's say you had a problem with your knees, you had bad knees, and you needed relief. So they would inject you with this stem cell service, stem cells. And here's the problem or the challenge: stem cells injections are expensive. It could be anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 per shot. You have to go back in 6 months. There's no guarantee it works. It's not covered by any medical insurance. And some people even have to go out of the country. I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day. He was in so much excruciating pain. He said, "Man, I feel so bad. I think I'm going to go to Mexico and get a treatment." That is how bad it's gotten for him and some other people. But again, you don't have to do that. We have a solution. And let's talk about how this works. Now, it is a patented technology. It's a wearable phototherapy apparatus. So again, we are FDA, we're not FDA approved because it doesn't have to be. It's not a drug, it's a technology. But we are FDA registered. It produces what you call beneficial effects to a human body, such as activation of the stem cells, improvement in your strength, improvement in stamina, pain relief via a non-transdermal container, which I mentioned earlier. Now, this non-transdermal apparatus, it reflects specific wavelengths of light to elevate what I mentioned earlier, something called a copper peptide, GHKCU, in the body. Now, copper peptide was discovered by another scientist. His name was Laurent Picard. Now, Laurent Picard, in 1973, to show how far back this goes, he spent his lifetime trying to figure out a way to cure cancer, because when he was 5 years old, his grandmother died of cancer. It devastated his mother to the point where at 5 years old, he told his mother, I'm going to find a cure for cancer. So Laurent Picard spent his life trying to figure out how to uh, cure cancer. Now, he did not find a cure for cancer, but he is the one who discovered the GHKCU copper peptide. And during his trials and trying to figure out how to find out something that could help people, he got to a point where he just couldn't figure it out. And guess what he did? He prayed to God to give him a solution. He come from a family of 15 ministers. So again, he figured out and discovered the GHKCU copper peptide. He's a man of faith. Now, based on what I just shared with you, you might say to yourself, you know what? Isn't it ironic that you had a man of faith who's dedicated his life to trying to figure out a way to help cure people, who discovered the GHKCU copper peptide? Now you have another man of faith who years later took that, what he learned. He spent 10 years of his life and $5 million of his own money to figure out a way to activate dormant stem cells. And that's what David Smith did on the 39th trial. So many of you might say, you know what, that is not irony, that is destiny. And I believe that is the case. Now I'm going to show you this short video. It's about 3 minutes long. It's going to actually explain to you what I just shared with you, how phototherapy works to heal our body, how this patch works. And then after that video, I'm going to come back on the other side. I'm going to tell you how to use the patch, how you can get the patch. And for those of you who are so inclined, after we talk about improving your health, there is an opportunity for you to join and become one of, just like Rhonda's having a launch today, you can join us as well in helping people heal. So watch this video and I'll see you on the other side in about 3 minutes.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. Lifewave's phototherapy patches use light that can promote a general state of health and healthy activity unique to each Lifewave patch. Here's how the technology works. First, the patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared energy emitted from the body is reflected back into the body and then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy. Lifewave phototherapy patches promote an environment that enables the body to optimize its restorative energy and enhances your ability to live well without the use of harmful drugs or chemicals. To find out more, contact your distributor. Lifewave. Live long, live well.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a short video explaining how the patch works. Give me a second. I'm going to now talk about the benefits of X39. Again, it's very simple. Again, this patch, when you wear it on the body, it reflects light and back into your body at a certain frequency that actually activates those dormant stem cells. Once that happens, the benefits of the X39 patch is your increase in strength, your reduction in inflammation, energy vitality improves, you increase your stamina, your mental clarity improves. I'm going to share with you the brain scan of a 77-year-old woman who had major headaches and a lot of problems and with her brain, and you're going to show you a brain scan of what happened after she started wearing the patch. It restores muscle and skeletal conditions, improvement in sleep, improvement in skin appearance. These are just some of the many benefits. There are so many more. I just wanted to share with you the benefits that we see right away. Now, here's that brain scan I talked about. This is the brain scan of a 77-year-old woman. If you look to the far left, you notice in session one, you see the reddish orange area that represents inflammation in the brain. She had headaches for a long time, lack of brain coherence. So that was session one. So she came to session one. They put a patch on the back of her neck. And 3 weeks later, after wearing the patch daily, she came back and they did another brain scan. Looking at session number 2, you notice there's no more inflammation, improved brain coherence. And look what happened after session number 3, 6 weeks, complete turnaround, better brain coherence. But I want you to understand what you're looking at is the scan of someone's brain. The brain is made of stem cells. So is the eyes, so is the heart, the liver, your bones, your blood. So your whole body has stem cells. So if this can happen to the brain, imagine what it's doing for the rest of your body. One thing I can say about this patch is it has a patent, and you cannot get a patent for something if it does not work. If it doesn't do what it says it does, you can't get a patent for it. You have a patent for it. So that shows you and tells you that this absolutely works. The longer you wear it, the more benefits you experience. In fact, these are based on 80 or so, over 80 case studies were done with these patches. And look what happens in the first few weeks of wearing the patch. 4,000 of your genes begin to reset. Now, that's very important because it was studied that if you drink enough red wine, you can reset 2 of your body's genes because there's an ingredient from wine, particularly it's the extract of a grape seed. It's called resveratrol. And it can reset 2 of your genes. Could you imagine how much wine you'd have to drink to get 4,000 of them to reset? I don't think you can do that. But within 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced. I just share with you a brain scan showing you medical proof that that's what happens. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. You're going to see we have tremendous opportunities and tremendous testimonies about people whose skin is tightened up, they cleared up, their structure, their knee pains have just dissipated. Because when you have collagen, that collagen is like that cushion between the joints. It's that softness in your skin, your hair. All parts of your body can improve with collagen. Collagen is very popular. You know, you can buy it. People are selling collagen. They put in collagen in the ingredients. But what if you can restore your own body's collagen? That would be incredible. Within 6 months, your heart reverses in age. That's right. That's not a typo. Your heart reverses in age by 8 years for every 6 months that you wear this patch. And I'm talking about your age. You have 2 ages. You have obviously your biological age in terms of how long you've been living on Earth, but you also have your age based on your heart. You know, they measure your heart rate, or they measure the strength of your heart, the ability of your heart to do what it does. Now that's called your vascular age. And you can, here's an example. You may know somebody that's, let's say they're 40 years old or 50, let's say they're 50 years old, but because they've eating right, they've exercised, they don't smoke or drink, they've taken care of themselves, they avoided a lot of stress. When they go to the doctor and get measured, they actually have the vascular age of somebody in their 30s or 40s. So even though they can be 50 years of age, their vascular age is measured by the ability to move circulation, blood, and everything else. You can also have the opposite. You can have somebody who's in their 50s who didn't exercise, didn't work out, had a lot of stress, eats fried foods, sits on the couch, doesn't exercise, all the things that you shouldn't do. And instead of being 50 in terms of vascular age, they're more like 60. That is why you're seeing younger people deal with issues that they didn't deal with 30, 40 years ago because things are changing. Well, guess what? Within 6 months, your heart reverses in age by 8 years, and that's proven by both by urine and blood tests for those who've worn it for that much. So it's not age reversing, not age, and I'm sorry, it's not anti-aging. It is age reversing, and that is a quote directly from David Schmidt. So again, that is the power of the patch. Now, how do you wear the patch? Very simply, you wear the patch for 12 hours on and then 12 hours off. And then because it has been proven in plenty of studies that your body repairs and rejuvenates itself when it's in its rest state. So again, when you're at rest, that's when your body recuperates and recovers. So you put the patch on, for example, at 8 o'clock in the morning. You leave it on to 8 o'clock at night. You take it off and you discard it because it has an adhesive. When you wear it, you discard it. Women, do not give the used patch to your husband. Give them a fresh patch as well. Then you throw the patch away. You do the same thing the next day. You just repeat it. The longer you wear the patch, the more effects you start to see. Some you will see immediately. When I say immediately, it could be in the same within minutes of wearing the patch, hours, days. It could be months. It could be 6 months. But the bottom line is, the longer you wear the patch, it is going to work. Remember, you cannot get a patch for something if it does not do what it says it does. They have over 97% effective rate. So again, that is the power of this patch. You can wear more than one patch at a time, but generally one is all you need. You must drink plenty of water. Now, you should drink plenty of water anyway, because if you drink more water, you will be healthier, and that is proven because that is, if you think about it, water represents flow and movement. And if things are moving and flow, it can't be stagnant, it can't be a problem. But if you're not drinking water and you're dehydrated, it can cause other problems. That is why when you go into the hospital, if you ever have to go into the emergency room, what is the first thing they do when you get into that emergency room? They hydrate you. So drink plenty of water, preferably alkaline water. If you can't get alkaline water, there are ways you can get minerals into your water. You want to drink a healthy dose of water. So the combination of wearing the patch and having the best water would definitely improve your health and status. Now, X39 sounds so sophisticated, but it's simple to explain. Again, it's a patch that reflects light. It reflects light and energy and heat from your own body back inward at a certain frequency. And when you do that, it wakes up your copper peptide. And as I shared with you earlier, when you can wake up your copper peptides, and this was studied in 1973, and when you can wake up the copper peptide, it will reactivate dormant stem cells. And once your dormant stem cells are awake, they are your body intended repair system. Guess what? It starts to seek and destroy all of the channels that you have. Now we're going to have a couple of testimonies. You're going to hear from Rhonda, another one of our partners. For those of you here for the first time, we have literally hundreds, thousands of testimonies over the years of people having success by using the patch. So I'm going to reach out to our friend. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for the moment. I'm going to see if one of our partners, Mr. Emerson Gibson, if you can unmute yourself and also come off camera, would you please come on and share your experience with X39 with our guests? And as a reminder, before Emerson comes on, if you are invited, whoever you're invited by, please put in the chat your name and who invited you. Many times we have people come on and it says Zoom user, or it might be a phone number, it might say iPhone or iPad. There's no way of us knowing that you were here. We would love to thank you for joining us. And it's also important that the people who invited you know that you were here. So if you haven't done so, put in the chat your name and who invited you so they can get back to you. So Mr. Emerson Gibson, would you please come forward and share your testimony with our guests?
Well, thank you so much, Derek. I want to thank you for the opportunity to share with the folks tonight. I'd like to thank all the folks who I've invited that showed up for this particular meeting. And my journey was started by my senior partner, Mr. Alan Parsons. He one Sunday said, "I want you to try this patch." And when Alan told me that, I'm saying, okay, here we go. Here's something else. And I was kind of skeptical. And when he told me it was about stem cells, I was very skeptical. And at first I wasn't really interested, but then I said, nah, give it a shot. What do I have to lose? So he gave me a couple of patches. I wore the patches. And at first I really didn't feel anything. And my story is very unique because after 8 days, I did feel more energy. I did feel greater vitality. I was getting up doing things. As a matter of fact, my wife was not really complaining, but she's like, "What is wrong with you?" I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, cleaning the kitchen, doing things around the house because I'd gotten kind of sluggish with chores and things of the like. But that isn't really what sold me to go all in on the patch. I was in aerobics one morning and I was meeting this young lady on the 11th of March for the very first time. And I talked to her and I said, "How you doing?" We had a very nice conversation. And so 2 days later, we were back in the pool. So that was the 13th. And I noticed that she was grimacing quite a bit when we were doing the exercise. They had us doing certain things and she had a frown on her face and she was just not a happy camper. And so I said, what's the problem? She said, "Oh, it's my knees. I'm having trouble with my knees. I've had trouble with my knees for years. And I've done the injections. I've done everything that they told me to do. And my knees are just terrible." She says, I'm so frustrated. I'm thinking about starting to smoke marijuana." And I just chuckled. I thought that was just so strange. Somebody of our age group talking about starting marijuana. I said, "No, no, 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 you don't want to do that." And so then I asked her, I says, "You want to try something new?" I says, I think I might have something that would help if you'd like to try it. And I was even skeptical that she would respond positively simply because I'd only known her since Tuesday of the same week. Well, on the 7th, she said yes. And so I gave her patches that day. So she wore them the entire weekend. And so we called her, Derek and I did, on Monday, the 17th of March. And when we called her, we said, "Well, how do you feel? What do you think?" Da, 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 da. "Gentlemen, I'm not gonna do the patch. I'm already scheduled for uh, uh, um, surgery. I'm gonna do surgery. It's taking me a while to get everything lined up, and I'm just not gonna do the patch." And so we all agree because, again, we're not doctors. We're not trying to get in the way of doctors. The doctors, they got the license, they got the studies. They hopefully will have a good answer for what you need. And so she made that decision. So I was like, okay. And so Derek and I talked about it a little bit afterward, and that was it. So on the morning of the 18th, she left me a voicemail message because I was in the pool again. And what I would like to do is play that voicemail message for you so you can hear in her own words what she had to say and just what went on from there. So just give me a couple seconds and then start playing.
Morning, my friend. This is Evelyn. It's 8:05 on Tuesday morning. I know you're probably still in the pool, but I just had to call you, and I don't even know what I'm feeling this morning other than relief. I got up this morning and not feeling any pain in my right knee, and I can only attribute that to you and your kindness and the stem cell patches. And I'm just kind of getting a little emotional now because for the first time in a long, long time, I have not felt any pain. So I'm just so happy not, to get up and not feel any pain in my knees, especially the right one. So anyway, I will be home this afternoon after my meeting in Winston, and maybe I can meet you somewhere.
And then we went on to arrange a meeting so I could get her some additional patches. What you have to understand is Evelyn couldn't sit for a very long time because of the pain. She had to have help getting out of the bed in the morning. And when I got this voice recording here, I'm like, wait a minute, I need to share this with everybody. I need to share this with as many people as I possibly can. I says, because this is new technology. The word tells us that God gives us witty inventions when we need it. And when you think about it, we're talking about light. One of the first things God said is, let there be light. It was already here. We just didn't have the science or the technology to use this in order for us to bring about relief to the body. So again, I encourage you to think about it, to again, research it. I have found it to be an absolute wonder. I wear the patches. Sometimes one, sometimes two, just depends on where it is that particular day that I have issues. But I've even had times when I've been in the pool laying back and saying, Lord, thank you, because I feel no pain. I feel no pain. So that's my testimony. And one other thing that I want to point out to folks, so many folks are waiting for the effects to happen to them. And yes, that's a nice thing, but that isn't what got me convinced to do this. Evelyn is what got me convinced. There are people out there that need to hear about this new technology, this new science, who can benefit from you sharing with them right now, whether you've had an over-the-top experience or not. So with that, I say thank you, Derek. Again, it's always a pleasure, and we'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Emerson. I really appreciate that testimony. Again, I remember you sharing it with me the first time. It literally brought tears to mind just to hear the emotion of someone and knowing that you changed someone's life. And it's one thing to be part of a business, part of a movement. We are what I call a movement. We're on a crusade to really eradicate bad health in our communities without having to get surgery, medication, drugs, and the like. And we've been doing that. So now you're going to hear from our guest Rhonda today. Again, most of you invited here by Rhonda Lang. This is her business launch, and I know she appreciates the fact that you came out to support her, and again, you want to be on a crusade with her. So I'm going to ask Rhonda Lang if you can unmute yourself and come off on video and camera, and share your experience and share with those guests and as well as those who want to call why you decided to use the patch, but also become what's called a brand partner.
Okay, let's see here. Can you all see me?
I can see you and hear you loud and clear. It's all yours. Go ahead, Rhonda.
Okay, great. Hello, everybody. And to those I invited, thank you so much for coming. Those of you all who know me, those of you all who know me know that I don't do things lightly. And so I just want to share with you my experience with this patch. Okay. So I'm a naturally energetic person for those who know me. But a little over 10 years ago, yes, a little over 10 years ago, I started having a lot of problems with my health, a lot of problems with my energy levels. I tried supplements, I tried medication, I tried
I mean, I had surgeries, and the whole time I'm praying, like, God, you got to fix this because this isn't me. I'm just struggling. My family's been worried about me. Just my church has been worried about me. And then one day, Emerson gave me the patch. He introduced the patch to me. Well, I took it. I really didn't have any real expectations, like you've heard other people say. I put the patch on, right? About 8 days later, I realized that I had energy and I had vitality. And that was something that I had not seen, felt in years. I would just go to work, try to get through the day, come home and get in the bed. I mean, that's just where it was. And 8 days later, I had this energy that piqued my interest to just continue using the patch. About 2 weeks in, y'all, the difference was so drastic. It just blew my mind. After 10 and a half years of barely being able to walk up the parking lot at my church to get in the front door. There are some of you that are on here that know that, to the point where I would park in a whole different place so I didn't have to walk up the little bitty incline. After 10 years of trying to exercise and trying to dance, because I've danced all my life, and I was getting out of breath. After over 10 years of all of this, y'all, I was able to walk 5.5 miles straight and didn't even realize it, which completely blew my mind out the water. When I realized that I was on vacation, not only was I able to walk, I actually walked about 3 hours and then left there, the location I was at, and went to another location and walked those 5.5 miles and never got tired and never needed a nap for the rest of the evening. And I was completely mind blown. I actually went swimming for the first time in over 25 years. And for those of you who swim, or used to swim, let me say it like that. If you used to swim, you know, when you go swimming again, it can wear you out if you are not used to swimming. Y'all, not only did I swim and wasn't tired, the next day I went back and swam laps for an hour and I was not tired and did not need a nap. That didn't even happen when I was a child. I would go swimming as a child and needed a nap when I was done. And so this was after 2 weeks. Prior to this, I was lifting 3 and 5 pound weights. When I tell you, when I got home from my vacation and I was trying to straighten some things in my house, I messed around and was moving my son's weight. It was a 25-pound weight, y'all. Didn't even think about it. Picked it up, moved it. Didn't even struggle with it. 25 pounds, something that I struggled with doing literally 2 weeks before the patch. And so after all of that, and there's so much more, but I have to keep it short. After all of that, I called Emerson and asked him, how could I sell this and share it with other people? Because it was a complete answer to a prayer for me. And I thought it was very important that I share it with other people. And I've already started sharing it with some of you on here because some of you struggle just like I have. And so this is a beginning, because this is only like a month and a half in. And I didn't even know how the thing worked, but I know it's working. And I'm just thankful. And I just invited you all because I wanted to share it with you, because it's not a medication that has all the side effects, which was what I had all the problems with. Because I worked in an office with no windows for over 20 years and don't get much light. I've struggled with allergies and couldn't go outside. So again, couldn't get much light. So I tried this patch without even knowing how it worked, only to find out later how it worked And it made complete sense to me because it was helping me and giving me the very thing that I couldn't get, even in supplements, enough of. And so I'm just thankful to Emerson, and I'm thankful. Clearly, I'm thankful to God that He sent me this patch because I've been waiting on it a long time. And so that's all I have to share with you. And I will turn it back over to Derek.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you very much for that phenomenal testimony, Rhonda. For those of you again who joined us a little late, if you join the call and you're on the if you can in the chat, put in your name and who invited you. There's quite a few people on the call. We just see numbers, and you want to make sure that person who invited you know that you were here. And we're going to be wrapping up another 10 minutes. But before I get to the second part, obviously, our health is our wealth. Again, so we talked about an opportunity for you to help people that you care about. But I would be remiss if I did not introduce. We have a special guest on the call. Some of you may know who he is. Dr. Anthony Stroman is world-renowned speaker. He's a background in finance, he's a background in health and wellness. He speaks to churches and volumes. He has meetings with bishops and congregations all over the country. He's always in demand to talk about his experience, and he is one of the special guests on the call. So before I get into the last 10 minutes of the call, I'm going to ask if Dr. Anthony Stroman, if you are available, would you mind just coming on and just saying hello and sharing with the people why they're at the right place at the right time?
Mr. Hawkins, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. First of all, let me just say congratulations to Rhonda. What an amazing journey. And Mr. Ellison, I love hearing, I never get tired of hearing these beautiful testimonies. But let me just say this very quickly. If me and Mr. Hawkins, we're into the basketball world. And I want you to think about this. LeBron James spends $1 million on his body. And if you can't spend $99.95 on your $1 billion temple, you have to think about that. $3 a day. This man spends $1 million to take care of his $1 billion temple. And all you have to do is spend $99.95 or either $3 a day. So here's the bottom line with this assignment. We want to help millions of people to have healthy bodies and healthy bank accounts. And you know what that means? That equals peace and joy. Healthy bodies, healthy bank accounts equals peace and joy. So my question for all you wonderful people, what will you do with this power? Will you share it with other people that you love and care about? Or would you keep it a secret? I believe that we have the right answer. I think it's a moral obligation that you share with everybody that you love and care about, because you have an opportunity to become a change agent and to make a difference in lives everywhere you go. And I'm encouraged that all of you are going to do the same thing. Again, congratulations, Rhonda, for an excellent launch and wonderful, wonderful testimony. Mr. Hawkins, always great presentation. Thank you for the opportunity to share. And let's turn it back to you, my friend.
Thank you, Dr. Stroman. As always, appreciate your time and sharing the few moments to share with us. And again, we are phenomenally thankful for having you in the call. So again, I said patch, very simple, very easy to wear. Those testimonies just give you an idea. Let's talk about the business side for those of you who are looking for some cash flow in your household. Let's talk about the company and then put your business out on. This company is a 20-year-old company. They started actually, this is their 21st year in business, but in the first year of business, they did $17 million in volume in business. And over the last 15 to 16 years, guess what? They averaged $20 million a year. But when they developed this X39 patch, and it looks like somewhere about 2020, 21, look what happened between 2021 and 2022. It went from $20 million to $320 million, and it's all because of the X39 Lifewave patch. Now, why is this possible? Because this is not a Me Too product. It is not a supplement. It's not a vitamin. It's not skincare. It's not weight loss. And it's not that there's anything wrong with any of those products. However, there are so many places you can get all of those things. There's so many companies that market those products. But this has a patent. And we have another 15 years of exclusivity of marketing the patent. The bottom line is it is tremendous. In 2022, it went from $320 million to $430 million. And look what happened last year. We did over $600 million in revenue, and that's continued to grow. Again, that's because if you have something that works, it's going to grow. right? If it didn't work, the company wouldn't be going at the tremendous rate after 20 years and being in business. Now, this is just an example of the success that we've had. Lifewave is now ranked the #1 momentum company out of 6,000 companies that they monitor for the second year in a row. And this is per businessforhome.org. The company is growing at tremendous leaps and bounds. This is one of the recognition we received, to call a Bravo Award. We also received from the Direct Selling Network. What you see on the screen is one of our events. Now, understand this. That is not a company event. That is a team event. We are part of a team. Stephen, Gene, and Merritt, they had been multimillionaires in other businesses. They hadn't done anything for almost 6 years, but when they heard about X39, they came back out of retirement. They've helped hundreds of people become millionaires, and they are leading it. And that is why, once they saw the patchwork, they created the team called This Is It, because when you wear the patch, you will be saying, this is it. So again, tremendous success that we're having. And for those of you, again, who are looking at it for the first time, if you want to participate and join us, there are 3 ways you can join and to take advantage of it. You can buy the patches retail for about $150 for a 30-day supply, or you can get a discount. You can get a 90-day supply for $295, where you get 3 sleeves. Now, a sleeve is basically a pack that has 30 samples in it, or 30 patches in it. Again, that's for somebody if you just want to try the product, and then we recommend no less than 90 days if you want to use it. You become a core member, costs you $295, so you get a discount. You get the price that the brand partners get. It's coming out by $95 a sleeve, and you be on your way. Now, those of you who are serious and say, listen, I see the benefit of it as a couple using it for my health, but I do see an opportunity and I want to build this business. I can get started at the advanced level. It's $535. You're going to get 6 of those sleeves, which is in a 30 each, because you need multiple sleeves anyway. You can start your Lifeway business, an opportunity with X39. And in those of you who are serious about business and you see the opportunity for yourself, and if you ever owned a business, you have the availability of getting started at what we call the premium pack. It's $17.50. You're going to get 20 sleeves. So it's like starting a mini franchise without the franchise costs. As you know, if you started a McDonald's or any other, even a Wendy's or a Rita's, you're talking about $50 to $100 to $250,000 just to go to what they call McDonald's University to learn how to sell the burgers, fries, and everything else. But again, it's going to take you a few years to even get your return on your investment. You can get the return on your investment in this business within 30 days to get started. Some have done it within a week's time, in no time. And again, with the 20 sleeves, you have an opportunity to take advantage of it. Now, what are the benefits of doing it that way? First and foremost, you need to have a 30-day supply for yourself. If you have a significant other, you need a 30-day supply for them. And you also need to give out samples. If you listen to Rhonda's testimony, if you listen to Emerson's testimony, and the reason that they are both here is because somebody gave them a sample. Somebody gave them a patch and they experienced it and took advantage of it. So it's a business expense, but guess what? You can write it off and you get the benefits. So if nothing else, you're getting a physical benefit. Again, your health is most important. That is your wealth. So again, having the patches is more valuable than not having them. And if you think it's a cost, is a challenge for you, think of the cost of not having this patch. Think of the cost of bad health and what's happening to people and how much they have to spend to recover. So again, that is what it can take to get started. You simply fill out the form. And let me show you how that looks. So if you get started at the core position, you're going to actually have 3 sleeves. It's $295. Begin your Lifewave journey. Again, you don't want to have less than a 90-day supply when you do so. Advanced, $535. And if you're a new business builder, you're going to get 6 of these sleeves. If you're serious, if you ask my personal opinion, I would say you should get started at a premium position. If you want to ask my professional opinion, I would say you should get started at the premium position. Now, in addition to getting started, you also want to stay active. And active simply means having a monthly subscription. It's very important that you do, because when you have a monthly subscription of at least 1 sleeve, you're taking care of your health on a monthly basis. Again, so it's not a cost, it's a benefit, it's a value. Don't think about how much it costs, think about how much it's worth. What that does, it allows you to keep your points. I'm going to tell you the benefit of those points in a minute. But again, you want to have at least a one sleeve a month subscription, because you need that anyway for yourself. And at the very least, if you want to maximize the compensation plan, you want to get what's called a 2-sleeve subscription. Again, that's $199 per month. You have 2 sleeves. You need one for yourself and one for your significant other. I have 4 sleeves a month because I get one for myself, my wife, my mother, and I have an older brother who has challenges. So again, I make sure that I have 4 sleeves per month, which is more than is needed. But the bottom line is the value is invaluable. Now you have a 30-day, 100% money back guarantee on the use of the patches, and there's several ways to get compensated. I'm just going to share with the 2, because if you understand this, if you can share this with other people, unlike when you go to a movie, you might tell somebody about a good movie. You might tell somebody about a good hairstylist, and you might tell more people if it's a bad hairstylist. But the bottom line is when we tell people about things, some of them benefit from our sharing. Well, what if you have an opportunity to share and help people improve their health and you can benefit because you're helping somebody feel better? Could you imagine the benefit? And not only that, how much better you feel because not only are you helping somebody with their health and their wellness, you're also helping them financially if they chose to do so. Now, we have several ways to get compensated. I'm going to talk about the first one. It's called a binary. A binary simply means two. That means when you get started, you're either going to be on the left side or the right side. There's no other choices. So that means everybody has a left and right side. And if you know at least four people that are looking for an opportunity, you know somebody who's sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know somebody who's tired of their work, looking for opportunity, guess what? It could be in your family. It could be your friends. It could be people that you know. You can get to the position of manager. And at the manager position, you can earn up to $25,000 in the binary. Now, the way the binary works is when you get started, again, you can only go to the left or the right. So let's say that is you at the top, and you invited four people to get started. Guess what? The people that came in before you, they have a left and a right side. So if they're on your left side, guess what? When they invite somebody to join, they're going to go on your left side underneath you. If they're on the right side, they're going to go on your right side. Now, what that means is there are other people contributing to your income. So the company incentivizes you to help build your teams because you're helping other people generate income. Now, we had people who enrolled and maybe only shared it with two people, but guess what? Because of the power of the binary, they have 50, 100, thousands of people on their left and right team that they could benefit from because the volume that accumulates from some people using the patches, sharing the patches, and getting started, that volume is accumulating like a savings account, just waiting for you to go mine it and dig it up. And the way you do that is by sharing with other people. So again, up to $25,000 per week in the binary. The only thing better than that is what we call the matching bonus. Now, the way the matching bonus works is the company rewards you for sharing with other people. So let's say you share this opportunity, like you heard Emerson shared it with Rhonda. So Rhonda would be on his first generation, his first level. Anytime Rhonda earns a commission, guess what? As a manager, and Emerson is a manager, he's going to earn a 25% matching bonus. So what if she earned $1,000 this week? That's a $250 bonus that you get as a matching bonus because you introduce it. And you can share with as many people as you want. Now, obviously, Rhonda knows people that you don't know. So that would be on Emerson's second generation, second level. Guess what? He would earn a 20% match on that second generation. And the good thing is it does not come out of their commission earning. This is an addition because the company realizes, hey, if we can compensate you, would you be willing to help those people that you share? We're not the kind of business or company where you sign somebody up and you kind of walk away. No, you're incentivized to help that person because you help them, you help on yourself. It gets paid through three levels where you get another 20% matching bonus. So you can maximize the compensation plan in the binary up to $25,000 per week. And or you can actually maximize and go beyond that because there's no limit in the matching bonus. You can share it with as many people as you want. We have people that shared it with 5, 10, 15, 20, hundreds of people. And guess what? Imagine getting 25% match on 100 people that you involved. And now they know people that you don't know on your second generation all the way down to your third generation. And here's what I know. We call it sleeping money because what happening is you're getting paid even while you're sleeping. Now I have a question for you. It's a tough question. You don't have to respond. But if you knew that you were getting paid while you were asleep, how many of you take more naps? Probably most of you, right? But the bottom line is this is only two of the ways we get compensated. So you're getting compensated for helping people. Guess what? If you don't help people, you're not going to get compensated. But if you are helping people, guess what? You will get compensated two ways. Your health will improve. There are some people that are just happy and satisfied enough that they only use the patches. But guess what? You can't help but tell other people. You heard Rhonda's story. She had no intention of looking for a business. She had no intention of probably even sharing with other people. But once you experience the benefits that is life changing, you cannot hold it in. You have to share with other people, and you might as well get compensated for it. So for those of you who want more information, you can go to our website, thisisitinfo.com. That is simply an information site. Don't do what I call a lazy Google search. Go to thisisitinfo.com. You'll have information about our patents, our studies. There's testimonies on there, testimonies by doctors, testimonies by people that use it. We have a lot of our brand partners are actually doctors. again, that's the power of this opportunity. And we also have a training system. As I mentioned, if you know why franchises like McDonald's and some of these others are famous and successful, because they have a system that McDonald's has a system so well put together that they can have teenagers run their business. Well, guess what? We have a system called thisisateam.com. This is where we have our training. We teach you how to, we talk about the compensation plan in detail. There's a list of all our upcoming Zooms that we have during the week. There's what to say, how to say it. There's scripts in there. The compensation plan, we have videos. I mean, everything that you need to run this business is there for you, in addition to the people that we have that support us and our team. So again, you want to visit those two sites for those of you who are thinking about coming and joining us. Now we do have business tools. We have a nice, nicely designed card. It's like a postcard, and on the one side it talks about the patch. It has a website. This is it info. You don't have to say much. You can just give somebody that site and let it do the work for you. You can put a couple of samples in there. When you give it to them, on the other side of that card, it tells them how to use the patch and the benefits of it. We also have an app called the In Touch Lifewave. On this app, you can run a business from this app. It is free for those who are brand partners. There's videos on there. There's trainings on there. There's PDFs. I mean, you can contact and keep track of your business right from your phone. So again, we have put things in place for you. This is what you'll see if you go to This Is the Team. In fact, tonight at 10 o'clock, we have another call for our West Coast guests. So if you're on a call tonight and this makes sense to you and you want to start your business right away, you don't have to wait. Get back to the person that invited you, ask them for that information, get people on that call, and you can start building your business and start earning today, because we get paid weekly, and that is WEEKLY, not WEAKLY. Okay. We have a big event coming up, like the one I showed you earlier in Florida. It's going to be August 8th to the 10th. It's going to sell out if it hasn't sold out already, but you still have time for those of you who want to join us. And you can go to thisisitconvention.com. That is going to be a phenomenal event. You're going to meet David Schmidt, the owner. You're going to see all of the top income earners in the company. You're going to learn how to build your business from those who have done it. And again, you don't want to make sure to get to that event. There's also an event in Atlanta, Georgia. If any of you are in the Atlanta, Georgia area, this Saturday, there's going to be an event at 11 o'clock in the Atlanta area. It's going to be live. And again, if you're interested, get back to the person who invited you. They can give you the details. But more importantly, get back to the person that invited you. Those of you who are invited by Rhonda, make sure you let her know that you were on. When you get back to her, let her know if you're a 1, a 2, or 3. A 1 is somebody say, hey, I just want to start using the patches. Let me sign up as a core partner, or you can become what's called a preferred customer who just agrees to order once a month. If you're somebody who's really serious, maybe you want to get the advanced pack. If you're really serious, you can get started at the premium pack and build your business right away. There are other benefits to getting started at premium as well. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter where you get started. It's more important that you start. Yeah, there's some of you who said, you know what? Let me think about it. Let me pray about it. Let me tell you about thinking about it and praying about it. If you've been, the reason that you're on this call, because you've been praying for something and it led you to this place. And this is what happens. If you don't make the decision, not making the decision is a decision. And some of you say, you know what? I'll just wait till I get home to make a decision. And you know what happened? Some of you will either never get home or you never make a decision. But the bottom line is, withhold not good from those to who it is due when it is in the power of thine hand to do so. Again, withhold not good to those to whom it is due when it is in the power of thine hand to do so. I want to thank you for joining us. Rhonda thanks you. Emerson thanks you. All of our other partners, thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the beaches of the world. And for those of you who are part of Erica McQueen's team, she has a team huddle at 9 o'clock right after this call. That is where you get to meet some of our new partners and share your benefits. So I thank you. Have a good evening. Again, we will see you literally on the beaches of the world.
Thank you all.